here. The first item on our agenda is if there's any member of the committee that needs to declare a conflict of interest with today's agenda, now is the time to do so. All right, if not, we'll move on to our mission statement. Dr. Nzarue, would you mind me reading, please, the hospital's mission statement?
To improve the health and wellness of Nashville by providing equitable access to coordinated patient-centered care, supporting tomorrow's caregivers, and translating science into clinical practice.
Thank you. There's an opportunity for public comment if any member of the public wants to appear and make comments for the committee. No, sir. Okay, thank you, Ms. Lester. There are no public comments, so we'll move on to the minutes from our previous meeting. You have those in your packet and provided to you before our meeting. Does anyone have any revisions or edits that they think are needed? If not, I'll entertain a motion to approve previous minutes. We have a motion and a second. Is there any discussion? All those in favor of approving the minutes from the previous meeting say aye. Any opposed? The minutes are approved. That takes us to our old and new business, and it has been several weeks since we've been together, and a lot has happened in our community since then. And certainly we are thinking about those who are still without power and still without heat, and those who are working to bring things back to normal, and certainly have that at front of mind as we meet and do our business. As a result, we have, I know a lot of us have been under difficult circumstances, and we may not have made as much progress as a committee as we would have hoped when we last met. In particular, I know that we received a job description and had hoped to provide comments through Ms. Lester to forward on to our consultants at AMN, and I, for one, have not been able to do that, and I take it that other members of the committee, but so that is one lingering bit of business that we can talk about during this meeting and move forward. But at this point, I think it'd be, I'll turn it over to Mick and his team who are on the telephone from AMN to give us a report on the community interviews and stakeholder meetings that they've had, and also where things stand with the search.
Thank you, David. This is Mick. Can everybody hear me okay?
Yes, we can hear you fine.
Very good. Well, first, I think we want to go through and give kind of an overview and recap of the intake that we've conducted, maybe common themes and appreciation for the organization, and the dynamics that this leader will have to face coming into this role. We have shared the position prospectus with you that incorporates the job description that we received, and also information that we've gleaned from those intake sessions as well. And then we've also included the ad, which will be in kind of an excerpt from the prospectus that we will use to promote the position. And then we want to provide you with kind of an update of activities to date as Sean's been in the market. And we'll be able to speak to some of the early doings of activity that's taken place so far. So first and foremost, does anybody have any questions about that before I get started on a recap of intake?
Mick, one question is, thank you for providing the job description, the ad, and the prospectus. When would you like or need comments from committee members to the extent people have suggestions or edits that they want to propose? When do you need to receive those and to stay on your timeline?
I mean, sooner is better. It won't disrupt us from where we're starting to get into the market. And just as a reminder, I'd like to have those things refined by the time Julie and I are more thoroughly interviewing candidates for fit. So that gives us probably a time window of 14 to 30 days before we'll actually need that. So sometime in the next 10 days, if we can get that refined, or probably before the next meeting, that would be ideal.
All right. Well, if it's acceptable to members of the committee, then we will these 3 documents that you've provided, committee members will provide their feedback to you by sending it to Ms. Lester, and then we can have on the agenda at our next meeting to finalize these in the event that there's any discussion that we need to have or any decisions we need to make about that. But we will have, as committee members, our feedback to you by our next meeting.
Perfect. Okay, that'd be great. So just the common themes, I think the appreciation that we're getting for the interaction and the relationships between the city, Meharry, and Nashville General. When you look at those 3 principles in itself, let alone other community stakeholders and partnerships, you get an appreciation for the collaboration that needs to occur. We need someone that can advocate for Nashville General, promote its interests, but do that in the spirit of collaboration for serving the community that we serve. I think that's going to be the important thing. And if that ever gets out of balance, I think that's where we can get into overweight and trouble in some ways. That's something that we've learned to appreciate as we've done intake. So that has to all be done in the spirit of partnership and collaboration. Julie and Asham, anything else that you would comment on based on what we've heard from our intake sessions?
I would just say, really very much appreciate all the involvement and the engagement in taking, having these stakeholder conversations. And I mean, it's definitely, they've included, board members and city leadership, hospital leadership, physicians, community, but just, with the time that was spent and the transparency and the trust that you've given to us, it's been very helpful, and really has allowed us to develop that perspective the way I think that best represents what you're looking for in the next CEO and for Nashville General. But I think 25 stakeholder intake conversations have taken place so far. We have 2 additional conversations that are scheduled, and that'll complete those.
And then, Hisham, not to speak for you, but I know this gives you a really good lens in which you identify and even go after candidates in the marketplace. So I don't know if you've got some comments to share.
Yeah, no problem. Thanks again, search committee members. Since the last time we had connected, I think the statistics I had shared with you all is that I did outreach to just over 200 folks, and we had already started the screening process and moving candidates forward. Since then, we've almost doubled outreach. So we're at in the mid-300s in terms of how many folks we've reached out to. Our average response rate is between 8 and 10%. Last time you and I had spoken to you all, it was around 14 to 15%. Since then, it has actually climbed to 16%. So continuing to get a lot of interest in the market. I've completed just under 20 screens, including the folks that you all had sent at the beginning of the search. These were the people that raised their hands right when the news kicked off about a year ago. And so we're continuing the process there. We do have the ad officially posted. Another common theme that had come up with these stakeholder calls was the potential desire for diversity. So as you all are aware, we do have some executive diversity job boards that we will be posting to as well. And so activity continues. The one thing that I will be transparent about is as we do move candidates forward in the process, similar to what Mick and Julie would like in terms of having a prospectus and a job spec ready to review before meeting with candidates. Candidates are asking the same thing. So there have been some interviews that I've held off on moving forward until candidates can review that spec, but we do have good activity. We are getting a lot of positive feedback from candidates who are interested. Those who aren't interested have simply cited relocation, really. That's been the only issue that folks have mentioned when it comes to not being interested. So that's pretty much the market activity to date. Mick, anything you want me to hone in on otherwise?
No, I think that's good. I think that kind of covers it and gives a sense for the activity, the current activity, right, and today. And then that will pick up, and as Sean finishes those screens and moves them over, we'll start interviewing. So Julie and I will start our interviews probably within the next 2 weeks.
Great. Mick and team, this is David. I have a question going back to the stakeholder interviews you're doing, and then open it up to the committee for questions or comments on what you've reported on. is there anything from those stakeholder interviews? You mentioned collaboration as a theme that came up, but is there anything that came up in those stakeholder interviews that either surprised you or were different, or may cause us to think about qualifications for this position that we've not previously discussed?
So this is Nick, and I don't think so. I don't think it changed anything fundamentally. It's almost like further clarity and painting of the picture, right? So we had a pretty good idea to begin with, and then just as you start to hear from others' interests and how it ties into the community. And so the big thing for this, and I guess my big takeaway is serving the community that we serve. And we know that going in, but when you do this intake and you understand how important it is and how important it is to leverage the relationships and the resources that are available, and maybe not try to do that independently on our own, but take advantage of everything that we've got in front of us, and do that in a way that is influential and encouraging to others to help and partner with us. So probably not anything fundamentally different versus, I think what Julie said is the investment, the interest from the community at large, and how important this work is, how important this organization is to the community, not just in historical fashion, but in importance of the healthcare for the community that we serve. It's just strong impression from all involved that are not necessarily Nashville General Hospital employees, right? That's the impressive part.
Great, thank you. I'll invite other committee members if they have questions about the process so far or any comments to make those now.
So, Nick, do I understand that this job opportunity is posted now in such a way that people can see it and apply for the position, or what are they actually seeing, and through what avenues are they seeing it?
Yeah, so we've got it. We've taken what we have so far to post it to attract attention and create traffic with that purpose, right, is to start giving some visibility to it. We'll look to refine some of the language, the verbiage to that. We'll update it as we go. I wanted to get that posted and in the market before even this update call, and we can refine it for the next. But I guess I'll ask Hisham to speak to where we post it. I know we posted it on our site just so potential candidates had a route to get to us. We certainly wanted to do that. So Hisham, if you want to speak to that.
Yeah, Dr. Martin, that's exactly it. I mean, we posted the ad to our site and our site only. I want this finalized with the feedback that you all provide before we send it to other job boards. You know, we've got the NAILR, National Association of Healthcare, that we're going to post to that spreads this across the national bandwidth. We also have some other job boards that, you know, once we do send the ad and it will be up and posted and finalized, and then we will not be able to modify it. So for that reason, I'm holding off on posting the ad elsewhere, but for now, it is up and posted on our site. This is both for exposure, but also for candidates who do want to express their interest. So they do have an apply now button if they do say, hey, this is the role for me and I want to apply. These folks do come into our system from our end, and I will be able to vet them before we consider them as true candidates or just simply prospects.
And will the job eventually be also posted on a official Metro Nashville website, just like any other job for the hospital would?
Yes, we will be sure to make that happen. Yes.
Okay, thank you.
All right, Mick and Julie and Hisham, thank you for that report. Are there any other updates or reports that you want to bring to the committee?
No, I think that's it, and just we'll look for any updates or changes that you recommend to the prospectus, which includes the job description. Want to make sure that we're representing and reflecting appropriately to the market. So we look for your guidance and input on that should you see opportunity to do so.
Great. Well, we will do that, and then we can finalize that if we need to through discussion at our meeting 2 weeks from today. And then at that point, it sounds like, Hisham, you will be ready to post that beyond AMN's website and into the channels in the market more generally.
Right. Yep.
All right, that sounds good. I guess the other question for you all, Mick and team, is the agenda for our next meeting. Certainly we can talk about and make and finalize the prospectus and the job description and the ad. Is there what else do you need from the committee, and should there be anything else on our agenda at the next meeting that you'll need from us to keep moving
David,
forward?
Yeah, I'm glad you mentioned. So we're going to develop a timeline, and this is going to be important because we're going to draft out the milestones for the search and the time commitment from the search committee. So we will start that in a draft form. We'll have that available before the next meeting, and we can give some discussions in the next meeting. And as a reminder, my big ask of the search committee is going to be the first round of interviews. So we will outline those in particular from the time commitment that we're going to expect from this group. So we can discuss that, make sure that there's no conflicts or barriers to making sure that we can execute that timeline as we lay it out. We don't like to change that. We understand your calendars and commitments are critically important, and we want to make sure that we can avoid any conflicts and that this goes smoothly. So that would be the other thing. We will outline a purposeful and thoughtful timeline. We will look for your input to refine that, and then we will start putting that on calendars as holds and commitments from this group as well as the rest of the organization as we move through interview process.
Great. So for our next meeting, our agenda will be to finalize the documents that we have drafts of now and to review your timeline and also finalize that, and then be prepared to have our calendars start to fill up with interview slots, which was an exciting development to think about getting through to that part of the process. Any other questions from committee members? All right. If not, thank you so much, Mick, Julie, Hisham. We continue to appreciate your work, value your partnership, and it is remarkable from your website that you have had hundreds of people express interest in this position, and that that there seems to be high interest in this position. Not entirely surprising. We maybe biased, but think it's a great opportunity, and so very pleased with that. Is there go ahead, Mick.
We do like the traffic and appreciate that. That's also a testament to the organization and the draw that it carries. So that's good.
It's all good news. If we are done with our business, is there a motion to adjourn? Is there a second? All right, we are adjourned. Thank you.